Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Nabe Hajolise, Yanahene, Hamahalogo, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Abe Hajolise, Yanahene, Hamahalogo, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Abe Hajolise, Yanahene, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Nabe Hajolise, Yanahene, Hamahalogo, Hamahalogo, Hayajoneko, Hayajoneko, Abe Hajolise, Yanahene, Bakhodone neche yonkache, Nihimada diyekodana habike nachetli tu, Yanahene, Hamahalogo.
Welcome to the horsemanship. This first episode basically is going to be explaining about what true horsemanship is, because it's not just about the horses. This is Brave Eagle, one of my personal horses, and get him to say hi. He's about an 8-year-old stud. Like I say, you'll be seeing him a lot here and there, and through these episodes, the format on this show is going to be, yes, it's going to be about how-to, but also there's going to be self-motivation in there. Like I said earlier, true horse isn't just about the horses, about improving our lives, seeing our shortcomings and seeing our strengths, but build on them strengths so we can let go of the shortcomings. Through horses and working with people, through the years, I've been able to spot them, and so that's my job, is to inspire people to do better and take all the mystery out of horses and everything and bring it back down to real. In other words, get rid of the treats and get true respect for the horse and treat them as such, and they'll have respect for you. And it really boils down to using their natural tendencies to a certain extent. Like when you'll see me with Groundwork, there'll be certain spots where I'll be working horses, and if I have one kick at me, you're going to see me move their feet. If I have one rearing at me, you'll be seeing their feet. But also, I'm vice president of one of the bigger rescues here in Southern California, so a lot of the horses you see will be rescue horses that I have to evaluate or rehab. So some of them won't be in the best looking shape, and 90% of the horses that do come through here, they're messed up in the mind because they've been catered to and spoiled, and not, respecting the horse for what they are. To me, they are a special creature, and I treat them as such, but I talk loud and clear to them, and I'm fair with them. Even sometimes it might not look like it, but I am. When they do the right thing, I back off of them. So some of these series will be going out, doing a rescue call to, like I got one coming up right now, I got to go evaluate a horse. So it's not going to be just on training all the time. I'm inviting y'all to my world, basically. That's the long extent of it. So this first episode, you'll see it'll be a follow-up to the next, but I'll be working a Palomino horse that's came in, and I'll get more in detail with that when I grab her up and bring her in here. So often I'm asked, how do I come up with true to horsemanship as a phrase? Many years ago, when I was just a little kid, my grandfather came up to me one day when he came over, saw me playing with my pony, and he said something to the order, David, you keep being good to that pony's going to keep being good to you. So that stuck in my head my whole life, and you know, I don't believe in the term natural horsemanship just because the fact that everything we do with horses is not natural. Yeah, we use some of their natural tendency, like I'm going to show hopefully with these Rex and Brave Eagle today. But long short of it, like I said, everything we do is not natural. So people keep asking me, what do you call it? What do you call it? So, you know, I went back to thinking what grandfather said and thinking about how I could put that in modern terms. So that's how I came up be true to horsemanship. Because I want to be true to this horse as I possibly can. I'm going to give this horse what it needs. Leadership, guidance, and everything. I'm not going to, no hand treats. Now, I will admit when I do like him, if I teach tricks, I use grain, but I don't use carrots. But he only gets it then, no other time. You know, I want to bond with a horse through a natural way of doing it, not because it respects me, not because I'm hand feeding it. And a story along with that, years ago I trained a horse and gal was really heavy in carrots, and I told her come back in 2 weeks and bring her a bag of carrots. So she gets in here and I push her horse off, which normally I don't do, very rarely. In this instance anyway. So I pushed the horse off, he made a couple of laps, and I told her now both of us stand in the middle but be about 10 foot apart. The horse came in, saw the bag of carrots, but he went right to me. And that lady actually got mad. In my training, I'm really big on using pressure release, and I use certain tools, but when I'm working horses on the ground especially, and that's when I do use a horse's natural tendency. Like Brave Eagle and Rex right now is trying to do the pecking order. Now I don't have 4 feet, but of course these horses do. Like Rex, he just told Brave Eagle stay out of my space. Brave Eagle's trying to control Rex's feet, but it's not working so well for Bravey right now. So this is, you know, but you use that mindset as you're training all along and gain respect. I do a lot of in-hand work. I don't do much liberty. Right now I got them 2 in liberty because I'm just demonstrating. Like Bravey, right now he's trying like heck to control Rex's feet. And of course Bravey works cows, so, and it sort of shows at this point. So like I said, you know, Rex is telling him, you know, you're not going to control my feet. I'm sorry, but this is it. But Rex is being subtle about it. You saw him, he'll kick out a couple of little times to tell Brave Eagle stay out of it. And that's the dynamics of the herd. Like right there, Rex just told him, that was pretty polite, told him, you know, leave me alone, you're not going to control my feet. And that's when, you know, when a horse kicks at you, that's what they're telling you. You know, the biggest problem I see nowadays are spoiled horses, and they come from usually 3 factors. 1, a horse has been spoiled and let do darn well what it wants to. Nobody's controlling his feet. 2, a lot of carrots. That would really get a horse screwed up. And 3, overschooling. And you can say that you can add one more in there with abused horses, but I'd say a good 85% of your horses are messed up because they've been spoiled. Not so much abused horses. Most time, abused horse wants to get out of your way. They are upset. You know, they don't want nothing to do with human contact. Now, also in Rex's case, when he first showed up, you thought he was abused. Well, he was sort of abused, but he was abused by other horses. You know, now he's not the low man on totem pole no more. That's why he's standing there, Brave Eagle. He's like, he's not going to control his feet. Now Rex, story on him, he was a bad kicker. He came from Texas, and he's my personal horse. And he was good. You stand on his withers and he was kicking you. But now he's doing pretty good. I'm starting to start him back again. Unfortunately, he is one of my horses. So when you watch these series, like I said, I'm going to be bringing you into my life. It's going to be a how-to series, but also there's going to be a lot of talking and parts of it, what I think is feasible. And it's going to be interacting for me with clients, with whatever. But I'm going to keep it real, simple and real. And my job here is to educate and get y'all have a better life with your horses and have fun with them. And also with true to horse horsemanship, like it's not only about the horse, it's about you. Try to be the best person that you can be. Be willing to see your flaws, but also be willing to see your assets. Don't, change your flaws, but don't dwell on them so much. And I use that in my way I give lessons. It could be a bad lesson, 90% of it, but if 10% of it is good, that's what I'm going to have the person focus on. And I really will start asking questions if I see it's a mental reason, a block. Let's say a person's been abused or something, and that's why they don't want to take control of their horse, because they fear, well, if I take control of my horse ain't going to love me. And usually that person's got a spouse at home who's being abusive to them. And I can spot them, so my job is to give that person a better life, no matter man or woman, and give them the power. So there's going to be a lot of self-motivation on this show. Like, you take Brave Eagle here, he was a 2-year-old when I got him, and there are certain things he didn't like to do. And one of the hardest things I've had to do is teach him how to bow, because he just can't see it. But instead of me giving up and quitting, because there's no such word to me as quit or I can't do it. You might not have the knowledge to know how, but still the knowledge is out there. And like with him, now he does bow. And that's one of the hardest things I had to do to teach him. He'll work a cow real nice. I could do upper level dressage moves with him, but that bow was a pain behind him. And that was one of the hardest things to do, but I never gave up. I kept being persistent, kept trying it, and kept going at it. And that is one of the key things to true to horse horsemanship. And like you learn to do that with your horse, you can carry over to your personal life. The gray horse you're seeing me ride, that was a horse that went through. He pushed on the bit. She was nasty. And with true to horse horsemanship, talking loud and clear to her, making her being responsible for her actions. I got a horse that's nice and framed. She's half passing real nice. I can do kind of half passes with her also. Now you'll see here Linda's riding her, and at first Linda's hands was way up in the air, and she'd get, every time this horse would root on the bit, in other words push forward, she'd let the horse have her head. So that's where part of the trouble was coming from. So my job is making Linda better, getting Linda to ride better. And Linda's came a long way, the horse came a long way, but it's all about talking loud and clear to the horse and letting that horse know what I expected out of it. This is Palomino mare. She came through a seizure case, I believe, through the rescue, Falcon Ridge. How old she is, I'm not sure. Okay, she looks like she's about 5-year-old by her teeth. First, this will be my 3rd time playing with her. And the first time I saw her, somebody was saying how sweet she was, and I walked 30 feet behind the trailer and the horse spooked like heck and was going nuts. So I'm thinking this horse ain't very sweet. She was really spooky. She'd go after a plastic bag. So next few episodes, unless I get an emergency call that interrupt, you'll be seeing this mare going from the ground to the saddle. Now she was really spooky, but at first I want to control her feet. I'm not going to run her around hard for an hour to control her feet. I'm going to ask real simple. I want her, if I walk to that hip, I expect that hip to move. It's that easy. Now, if she doesn't move it out of my space, I'm going to just create more energy and get her to move out of my space. So this is where we all start. I start back of the hip. I got the 4 points of the body. I really want the horse to move off, but the first 2 points is each side of the hip. Now keep her on the bend, and we'll walk to this hip. Now this is my, like I said, my 3rd time working her. Right there, she got a little sticky foot. And I got my pretty pleased with sugar on it rule. And I came up with that rule watching horses. So if I got to put some sugar on it, I'm no different than the horse out in the paddock or a pasture, what a horse was do. I was feeding one night, and I fed the hay a little bit close. And I watched one horse. She just gently told the other horse to move off the hay. Okay, the horse didn't move. Second time, the horse created more energy when it said move off the hay. Well, the 3rd time, she got that horse to move off the hay, and she bit the horse on the butt, and the horse moved off. Some horses would have turned around and kicked. So me, one thing nice about the rescue, I got plenty of horses to experiment with. I did it at a few other lots, and sure enough, every horse, basically just about 90% of them, I would say, did the same thing. They gave the horse, they politely asked the first time, they created more energy the second time, and then they put sugar. And my sugar, unfortunately, is that. I'm not going to bite this horse on the butt if I want it to move, and I'm not going to kick it. But if I go to this hip, first I say please. My stepping at him first is please. Now she's bulked up, so right there, I was pretty pleased. Now if she doesn't move that hip, I'm going to give her a little tap on the butt. She's going to run into that line. But I want to get this horse respectful enough where her front feet ain't moving, but her hind feet. And I don't want to pull on her line. Right there, she's nice and soft on that line. I want to teach my horses this line means to relax. It doesn't mean to stiffen up and pull on him. So this is a simple exercise. I get control of her feet this way. Some horses that kicks bad, I can just fix it like this. Some horses I can't. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to start with the least I can use. I'm going to just use my line. I'm going to walk to this hip, shoulder. She don't move. I'm just going to create energy. And back up. Now, this is one time I said I won't jerk on them. Now, if she tries to come forward, there's exception to every rule of horse training. I'm not going to allow her to come forward. So I'm going to ask her to come forward now with my feet. And I'm going to slowly invite her in. She come, this is where she can stop at. So I'm going to ask her to back up again. I'm going to walk, take a step. And yes, my dog's in here, but I don't care. This horse is not mind that dog. So I'm going to ask her to come in a little bit. At first, that last time I was too close to her shoulder. Because let's say you got a horse that likes to reach out, she could have nailed me. So I'm going to start this about this distance, take a step, my second step, I expect her to move away. Because I want this horse, there, see, that time I didn't have to use as much pressure, you know, right? So I'm going to let her know if she does the right thing, I'm not going to bug her. But I want to keep working this horse until I take a step and she backs up. I'm going to do both shoulders that. Now, when we get there, then and only then will I start asking her to move out. But I want to control her feet, but I want her to relax. That's the key thing. I want everything. I want her to do things at first, relax. I don't want her to learn that this round pen is where she's allowed to run around and be stupid. I like to create a thinking horse. I like to teach this horse, they got to be responsible for their own actions. Just like we as humans, we need to start being responsible for our own actions. Now we got the government telling us when to put a seatbelt on. I mean, to me that's ludicrous, but that's one of my pet peeves. A grown adult, we know to drive around with a seatbelt on. Because usually I got all kinds of stuff in my round pen, so they can run into it. My dogs are allowed to come in, as long as they're not barking and being crazy, because that makes, I don't train in a sterile environment. Now, so I'll keep working this horse. Now right there, that's nice. She took a step off, I'm going to pet her. Now, how does she know when not to back out my space? My body language is going to be different. Horses' key way of communicating is with their body and their eyes. So when I want her to move off, my shoulder's going to come a little erect. I want to walk to her with some authority. Like right there. Now, when I don't want her to move off, I'm going to soften my body up and pet her. It's that simple. I want to touch. That touch is a very important thing. This is her cue. Stand here and everything will be fine. So, like I said, I only got 30 minutes for each episode, so I'll try to get as much as I can. And through the episodes, you'll be seeing more and more of this. Now, that was nice. So she's backing out of my space with less pressure. Now, only now will I ask. I'll point. I'm going to go to that neck. Now you notice how what I did with my lead line, I let it out. So I'm going to bring her back down. I want her to go in neutral. When my hands come in neutral, I expect her to go in neutral. And it's me as a human to teach her that. You're not going to see me. I don't want these horses to learn to exaggerate movements, because like I said earlier, they learn to look for them exaggerated movement. So in reality, you're training that natural part of that horse out of it. So I'm going to point again. And you notice I don't henpeck her. Once she stops, and this is what I want. When I first start working a horse, I want them to walk. I take one step at a time. I want to try to get these horses calm. So I'm going to come in neutral. Right there, she got to my shoulder. She's not allowed to get past my shoulder, so I want her to disengage that hiney and turn and face me. And I'm going to stop her as soon as she gets to the shoulder. I'm not going to wait till her butt's past me, because to me you got to scale from 1 to 10. I'm not going to let it get to 10 before I correct her. I'm going to stop it at about 2. So I'm going to point in there. And if y'all saw me the day I evaluated this horse, you would appreciate what she's doing right now. So I'm going to pick up, I'm going to step over, ask her to move. I'm going to point. Like I said, I'm not going to let her trot off. I'm going to disengage. I'm going to point. Because I want her to do that. I want her to walk. Right there, she corrected herself. Good. That was nice. I took the pressure off of her, and she kind of came down. That's what I want. So I'll keep doing this, and as time goes on, like I said, this is pretty much good for the first episode. And my key thing is get this horse to relax, keep her relaxed. And there's going to be times that these horses are going to be bumps. This won't be one of the few horses I'll actually start off with that I've worked a couple times. Most horses be horses that just come out. That'll be the first time I've seen them or handle them, whatever. So this is what we'll just keep doing, because one of my pet peeves is when this horse finds a round pen and thinks it gets to trot off or canter. And when you work horses in liberty, that's what you end up starting to happen. I want this horse to think this is their relaxed place. This is their happy place. Now that was nice. I went into neutral, the horse went in neutral. So while she's facing me, that's a good place. We're going to go back. Asked her back up. Now I didn't have to put much pressure on her, so that's good. So this is just a start with this horse. This episode, when the how-to is going to be a little short because of time frame, but you'll see her next week in the next episode where we're going to bump it up a little bit. And the key thing is I want to teach this horse to slow down and do it right. I'm not looking to wear her out before I'm working her out, because 90% of the time we handle horses with a halter. And I want her to learn that this halter and lead is their relaxation. It's not to push through it. So I appreciate this opportunity to be on E-Wave TV. And so I'm looking forward for the next episode. People try to get these horses, love them like a human. They'll use the carrots, they'll use whatever. And then when the horse walks off or kicks them, they say, well, my horse, he don't love me. No, the horse is reacting to a situation. Horses are smart. They live in the moment, unfortunately, not like us. So if you want your horse to love you like a person, look into your life, see what you're missing in your life to want you to do that, especially if you're an adult. You know, the past is past, no matter, because I didn't have the best childhood, but you got to let go of it. And don't let a horse or a human pay for what's happened in the past. Respect each living creature for what they are. Like a horse, they're just a horse, so respect them. You young kids, you know, parents aren't perfect, so realize that. And I know y'all's options ain't like a grown-up, but one day you'll be on your own. But still, be the best person you can be, no matter if you're 12 or 62. And by the way, I am not 62 yet, thank God. But anyhow, so to my kids, my grandkids, and special person out there, Washington Lake, KDA, God bless, take care. There we go.